preacher board deal because I completely forgot about it. I came to the bus and Brother Joe comes up to me and he says, "Hey James, you going to be in the preacher board competition?" I'm like, "Wasn't planning on it. I completely forgot about it." He's like, "Well, you should." I'm like, "I don't even have anything to preach." And he said, "Sure you do." I was like, "What?" He said, "Just get up there and flap your jaws for 5 minutes. You shouldn't have any problem with that." I said, "Well, okay." And I had tough time preparing. I threw on these clothes. I had to get a sermon ready. I ran up to the bookstore, got me this girly zebra print notebook. And so sermon number 1 is be prepared for what you're going to do. Just be prepared. And sermon number 2 is don't do as I do as I say. That's sermon number 2. And tonight we're going to talk about pride a little bit. A sin called pride. A sin that completely caused men to separate from the love of God. I've got to be quick here. Brother John's getting pretty whistle happy down there. Turn to Isaiah chapter 5 and look in verse number 20. Isaiah chapter 5. We're going to start in verse number 20. In Isaiah chapter 5, verse number 20, it says, "Woe unto them that call evil good, and good evil, that put darkness for light, and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet, and sweet for bitter." And there's a verse towards the closer to the top that says, "Woe unto them that are wise in their own sight." There's pride completely separates you from the love of God. Turn to Isaiah chapter 14. And Isaiah chapter 14, we're going to look in verse number 12. "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake the kingdom?" So we see here that pride was the original sin. It was something that developed in Lucifer that was completely foreign to God. God created the concept of possibility. And in that concept of possibility, developed something called sin. And that sin is what weakened the nations, is what caused us to tremble. Now, if you study Jesus' earthly ministry, he helped a lot of different people, many people, with various types of sin, just all sorts of sin, immorality, theft, this, that. He constantly was forgiving people for different sins, and they were finding victory and joy. But there was one sin that Jesus himself could not stand, and that was pride. That was arrogance. In every single one of Jesus' sermons, in his messages, in his parables, he always, most of the time, talked about a rich man, or generally someone who thought of himself more highly than he should. And Jesus couldn't stand it. And people who think of ourselves more highly than we shouldn't, because we are nothing. We are sinners. I am nothing. Amen. I deserve to be in hell right now for everything that I've done. I'm gracious to God. I love God. I thank him so much for allowing me to have salvation. A lot of things that people struggle with, including myself, is running our nose down on somebody else because we're not in the same type of sin that they are. And my message tonight is message number 3. The message tonight is just treat somebody